Hello, all you fine people out there. Yours truly, Pastor Todd. Now, it took me some real hunting to find the cross I wanted to talk about today. So I hunted around. Joanne and I were here doing the newsletter. So in between folding and stamping and proofreading, I walked around the church. I really hunted. And what I found today that I want to talk about is that one right there. You see it? Boop. It's on our table with our upper room devotionals and all of our happenings up here on the board. And I texted and called around, but I couldn't find any information about it. It's a ceramic cross. I texted Don. I thought maybe somebody painted this because it's gold. Around here, it's got little hearts right here. Very beautiful piece of ceramic art. And although I can't tell you anything about it historically unless somebody calls me and lets me know, which I'd love if you know anything about it, I want to talk about, before I put it away, I want to just see intricately, I want to talk about my interpretation of the cross. It's a thing of beauty. It's very ornate. And my interpretation of the cross kind of stems from its original purpose. I talked about the tau cross yesterday and how it was used to crucify. It's used to do provide a violent death to those that opposed or in any other way resisted the Roman imperial government. So to take that symbol and make something beautiful and ornate from it it's just very telling. It's very powerful, and parallels well what God does in the life of Jesus is take something terrible and violent and turn it into something life-giving and revolutionary for God's children, us as creations. So because of that idea of turning the deadly piece of torturous equipment into a beautiful thing, I was inspired to read a poem by Gerard Manley Hopkins about what he sees in nature and the proof or the image of God in the created world. So this is a poem. This is one you may have heard of. It's called Pied Beauty by Hopkins. Glory be to God for dappled things, for skies of couple color as a brinded cow, for rose moles all enstippled upon trout that swim, fresh fire coal, chestnut falls, finches' wings, landscape plotted and pieced, fold, fallow, and plow, and all trades their gear and tackle and trim, all things counter, original, spare, strange. Whatever is fickle, freckled, who knows how, with swift, slow, sweet, sour, adazzle, dim, he fathers forth whose beauty is past change. Praise him. And our editor of our book of poems, Roger Housden, writes, skies of couple color, fresh fire coal, chestnut falls. The poem Pied Beauty is a joyous song of praise in which Hopkins uses his love of alliteration and compressed syntax in every line to celebrate both the infinite variety and beauty of nature and the incomprehensible mind of God who created it all. Hopkins wrote the poem in 1877, though like the rest of his work, it was first published only 29 years after his death. It is for this reason that he is sometimes called an early modern poet, one who is far ahead of his Victorian times. And if you're interested in poetry, it's always been something that's helped me get in touch with the deep, beautiful spiritual nature of the created world and humans as part of the created world. If you're interested in poetry, look up more of Gerard Manley Hopkins. I haven't read a poem that didn't touch me very deeply, and his use of language is extraordinary. So we talked about this beautiful ornate cross I found and the beautiful words of Hopkins, and I want to talk about a prayer exercise today that deals with beauty. We're just today and tomorrow we'll be completing our week of looking at the second stage of our evolution of prayer, which is praying with God. This is also called extemporaneous prayer. So here is your exercise. Whenever you plan to sit for 5 minutes in your armchair, I want you to, in silence, think of the most beautiful thing you've ever seen. So, this would be something in nature, a piece of art that you saw in a museum, something that you experience with your five senses. I mean, you could have heard something, a poem that was beautiful, but I want you to spend some time in silence and in your mind, think about something, the most beautiful thing you've ever experienced. And when you've got it in your mind, I want you to tell God about it. And what we're doing is we're practicing this speaking from the gut, just telling God, not trying to live up to some type of prayer or level of prayer that's very articulate and eloquent. This is just talking to God like you would a trusted friend. I mean, some friends or people you talk to, it may be that you feel some pressure to be very well spoken, and there's some friends or family where you can just pause in silence for a minute at a time, maybe fumble with your words. You just feel safe around enough to be exactly who you are and say exactly what you mean. So that's the kind of talking to God we're after in this evolution of prayer and talking with God, praying with God. So I invite you to take some nice deep breaths and then go into a period of silence, thinking back into your past. It could be something you saw this morning or 30 years ago. What was the most beautiful thing you've ever experienced? And then tell God all about it. All right? So I'm looking forward to filming our worship tomorrow. I'm going to film most of it on Saturday, then some on Sunday morning. Tomorrow is supposed to be very beautiful, almost 70, clear skies, so make some plans to get out. So a few announcements. So look for that newsletter. We mailed it today. It's Friday. Also, so this is really not a note to anybody that would be watching this. We send out every week a bulletin and a copy of my sermon, a little letter that I write, and like an upper room devotional for that day, for the Sunday. So we send that out to people that we think aren't able to get to a computer. But you guys in computer land, Facebook land, YouTube land, may want a copy of this. So please let us know if you want us to add you to the mailing list for that. We are going to continue to produce these daily video meditations. In the newsletter you're going to get is the weekly Zoom opportunities on Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, meditation, Bible study and prayer group. And we are going to have, it looks like I've been talking to the church council via email, we're going to have that food drive that Carol Dunn came up with, the food drive up. So it looks like Saturday, next Saturday, the day before Mother's Day, and in honor of Mother's Day, we'll be collecting food and donations. But look for email and listen for calls. We're going to make sure, in one way or another, everybody gets the information and invitation about next Saturday. So details will come. I don't want to, until I get some kind of consensus from the church council, I don't want to give you any solid details other than food donation on Saturday in honor of Mother's Day. So, and Mother's Day is coming up a week from Sunday. So until I see you in person, God and I love you, and